Welcome and welcome back, Family. I'm B, and today I'm discussing the season 3 finale of From. We have come to the end of the road. It has been a long ride. There have been some ups and downs. There have been some concerns about whether the story is being pushed forward or whether we're going to get any answers. And I think we finally got some answers, or at least some confirmation to some things that we were wondering throughout the season. We still have some questions, but I'm personally okay with that. And we also got news that From was renewed for season 4. Unfortunately, it won't be premiering until 2026, but I hope that that is not the case. I hope we at least get it in September 2025. Hopefully, it's not that long of a wait, but we will see. All right, so I'm not going to go scene for scene like I normally do. I'm just going to talk about the main things that happened in this episode. All right, so let's get into the finale. Let's talk about Tabitha. We get confirmation that Tabitha is the reincarnation of Miranda, but let's back it up a little bit. So, Jim has been given a redemption arc that started last episode. He apologized to Jade, and now he wants to work with him. So, Jim, Jade, and Tabitha are working together to try to figure things out. Jade explains the first law of thermodynamics, which is energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to another. So, the town is the place for these lingering energies. Jade, Tabitha, and Jim go to Victor's truck to see if they can find any clues because that is where one of the Angui children found Tabitha and led her to the cellar. So Tabitha explains that the blood from the children being sacrificed created the bottle tree, and Jade is completely over it. Jade's frustration represents the viewer's frustration, and I felt Jade in that moment where he's just like, please just tell us. Just just let us know. And so Jade is still trying to figure out what the numbers mean when Jim realizes that the numbers could represent the 12 notes of musical scale. And I thought that that was so creative for the writers to put that in. I still have a feeling that they may also be dates in addition to the musical notes, but we will see. So Jade, Tabby, and Jim head to the bottle tree where Jade plays the violin, and the violin brings forth the Ankui children. So then we finally learn that Ankui means remember. And I was like, why couldn't y'all just say that? It's easier to say remember instead of Ankui. Why are y'all making this so difficult? So Tabitha becomes emotional and she's feeling overwhelmed. And so she runs away and Jim goes after her. And she's saying, no, 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 I can't, I can't. And listen, I'm going to need the writers to come up with better writing for Tabitha's character next season. We cannot go on with her saying the same old no, 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 I can't lines. It is very, very annoying. Anyway, Jim gets frustrated because Tabitha won't spit it out. And there I say, I am with Jim on this one because please just say it, just talk. So she finally talks and she reveals that she was Miranda and Jade was Christopher. So the theories about Jade being the reincarnation of Christopher were correct. It's further revealed that Tabitha and Jade have come back over and over again because they failed to save the children. But the bigger revelation is that one of the Ankui children was a daughter of the original people that Jade and Tabitha are reincarnations of. So I did not see that coming, that Jade and Tabitha, at least their earlier iteration, had a child together. Now we saw that Jade and Tabitha were connecting. They had some chemistry, and so that explains that. But the fact that one of those little Nkui children, you know, belongs to them, that was something that surprised me. So another revelation comes from Fatima that the monsters were originally people who sacrificed their children for immortality. And this is something that was hinted at in prior episodes. I think we were all on the same page that the monsters were previously human. So this is the monsters' origin story. Now, I need to know more about why they were willing to sacrifice their children for immortality. What was happening around that time period that they felt like, okay, this is worth giving up my children. So I hope that that gets explored more in season 4. And then while Fatima tells Ellis and Kenny about the monster's origin story, Boyd goes down in the cellar to see what the kimono lady is doing with that sack that Fatima had given birth to. So we see the kimono lady set the sack down in front of the waiting monsters, and out emerges some sort of human figure, and it's Smiley. So when Smiley emerged from that amniotic sac, I was so undone. I was not expecting that. So the theories about Fatima giving birth to Smiley were confirmed. And the monsters cannot truly be killed because they were giving eternal life. They can only be reborn. Now I want to talk a little bit more about Elgin's storyline. So um, Elgin is being tortured. But before I go into that, let's go back to last episode where Ellis looked at Elgin with suspicion. And I had said that before, and so I was correct. He was picking up that Elgin was just being really weird. So Ellis tells Boyd and Kenny about this, and they come up with a plan to question Elgin, but Elgin will not tell them where Fatima is. He thinks that the kimono lady is an angel that is leading them home, and he's not even listening to Sarah when she tells him that the voices mean him no good. So Boyd decides that it's time to ramp up the interrogation by torturing Elgin. And so Father Khatri makes an appearance this episode, and he was reading Boyd down, calling him a hypocrite. And I honestly agree with Father Khatri. I love Boyd down, but like Khatri said, Boyd didn't even blink an eye when Fatima killed Tilly. But now he wants to torture this poor young man who has been clearly manipulated by the From. I thought Boyd was going to change his mind after reflecting on what Father Khatri said, but he didn't. I'm surprised that they went there with Boyd beginning the torture of Elgin. And that's a point of no return to me. The fact that Donna and Kenny also went along with it was surprising to me. Now, in my opinion, Fatima and Sarah got let off easier than Elgin. Elgin didn't actually kill anyone. Sarah and Fatima did. So did he really deserve to be tortured? Boyd is going to lose the waning trust of the town when they find out about all of this. His relationship with Kenny may be irreparable because he did not tell Kenny what Fatima did. He didn't tell Kenny that Fatima killed Tilly. And now I also have mixed feelings about Sarah's role in all of this. She decided to take on the burden of torturing Elgin so that Boyd wouldn't lose his soul. She gouged out that poor man's eye with the quickness. And I was like, well, Sarah did what needed to be done. But Victor was right that she is the scariest person in town for her to be able to just do that. So I've already been seeing people championing Sarah online, but again, was it necessary for Elgin to be tortured? And will this be Elgin's villain origin story? Or are they even going to let Elgin live after all of this? Anyway, the optics of Elgin being tortured for listening to the entity of the town, while Fatima has been coddled and Sarah gets some redemption, it don't look good to me. It's just not good optics to me that these two women are able to, get away or move forward with their life with minimal consequences. And some people may argue that, Sarah got some consequences because, she became, an outcast for the town. But, that's about it. Elgin is being tortured here. And so I don't know that that is fair, being what Fatima and Sarah have done. They were equally influenced by this town. So that's just my opinion on that. So let's go on to Julie. So Ethan tells Julie that she is a story walker and that's someone who can visit chapters of the story that have already happened. Julie is excited because she thinks she can save Tian Chen and maybe even Thomas, but Ethan tells her that she cannot change the past. Well, it seems like Julie didn't listen because as Jim walks away to catch his breath after finding out that his wife is a reincarnation of one of the original people and has a strong connection to Jade, Jim is by the RV when we see a very different looking Julie. Julie's hair is shorter and darker. She has like 3 gashes on her face. She's frantic, trying to get him to run back to town. And she says, I think this is when it happens. So this must be a different Julie from maybe the future, another time, trying to save her father. So she still tried to change the story, even though Ethan said you can't. And I'm not even mad at her for trying. That's that girl's father, no matter how neglectful he has been. So it makes sense that she would try to save him anyway. So all of a sudden, a man in a yellow jacket pops up, and I was like, who the hell is this? I have never seen this man before. Who are you? And so the man in the yellow jacket heard Jade's song, and I'm wondering, did that song summon this entity? So he says, knowledge comes at a cost or with a cost. And Jim thinks that he can fight this man off with a tree branch. And he should have just run when Julie told him to. But instead, he pushed her mad hard. Like, and I'm wondering if he intended to do that, like the actual actor, because that shoved looked so hard. It looked like it might actually like hurt the actor who plays Julie. See, the old Jim started to seep out because why didn't he just run? And the entity hems Jim up and said, your wife shouldn't have dug that hole, Jim. And then he rips his throat out. So the man in yellow was the one on the radio who warned Jim. But I was wondering, was he also, or is he also the voice of Thomas? And is he the man that offered immortality to the monsters? Who is this man? Is he, you know, an all powerful entity? So hopefully that's something that they explore more in season 4. Now we know why Jim had a redemption arc. Jim is dead, y'all. Okay. And I've never been a fan of Jim's character, so I didn't feel much about him dying. But for those who are fans of Jim, all hope may not be lost, especially since time traveling has been introduced. Maybe Julie can change the story. She might be able to save her father in future seasons. We'll see. I would have much preferred if Acosta died this episode because that bitch continues to be annoying. We also learned that Acosta's first name is Danny. Hopefully in season 4 she dies like within the first, episode or two. Oh, and I almost forgot about Victor and Henry. So Victor shows Henry the graves of Miranda and Eloise. Victor buried them, and he did mention that he only found pieces of Eloise that he buried. So, do y'all still think that Eloise is alive? They keep mentioning her, but not fully confirming that she's dead. Now, I to me, she's dead, but because he said he found pieces of her, she may not be. So we'll see. Well, folks, that's it. I really like this season finale. They were starting to lose me a little bit, I'm gonna be honest, but I'm still on this ride. I hate that the show comes back in 2026, but like I said earlier, we may get it in late 2025, hopefully. And I've loved reviewing the show and chit chatting with the family across social media, and I'm gonna miss it. So I don't have any theories about season 4. What are your theories? How did you feel about the season finale? Let me know in the comments. You can also follow me on Blue Sky now. I just created an account. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more horror content.